Alright y'all, so today in this video, I'm going to do a very quick review of the Beach Boys' third studio album, Surfer Girl. Released all the way back in 1963, decades ago, completely different time and space, and just want to give you my thoughts on their third studio album, Surfer Girl. So this album is continuing on a lot of the tropes and the things that the band Beach Boys became famous for: surfing songs, good vibes, occasional songs about love and cars. And, I know a lot of people that don't like the early Beach Boys stuff, which is obviously understandable, just because a lot of it can be pretty cheesy and corny. But I also think there are some absolutely brilliant songs. In a lot of ways, they definitely revolutionized pop music. Now, this album is kind of continuing to base a lot of their themes from their previous album. But to kind of give you my pros and cons, my overall opinions on Surfer Girl, I gotta be honest with you. At this point in their career, now, huge disclaimer, at this point in their career, I gotta say, this is the strongest album probably of their early years. Now, granted, it has some issues, and there are some weird songs here and there, and I don't think it comes together as a nice, complete album package, but at the same time, the songs are becoming a little bit more advanced, and some of the concepts are not always about surfing. We saw a little bit of that with their second album, but I thought that their second album was kind of weak overall. This album is more stronger. Now, I want to say like it's significantly stronger, but it's a little bit more of improvement over the last one, because the second album kind of had a lot of filler tracks and tracks that didn't really lead anywhere. This album has more completed songs, and the lyrics feel a little bit more diverse, so to speak. That being said, let's get into some of my favorite tracks, the pros of the album, so to speak. One, the title track, Surfer Girl. Great track. It's very kind of these love ballad kind of songs. You can see that Brian is kind of, experimenting a little bit and kind of trying out different subgenres and themes. And I always felt like the Beach Boys, in terms of their love songs, are some of their best in their entire career. Surfer Girl is great. I love this song. It's obviously a pretty popular song, but pretty cool. Little Deuce Coupe is also a really good one. It's catchy. It's another car song. And I do think that it kind of feels weird on this album, especially considering the fact that her next album is Little Deuce Coupe, the name. A little bit strange, and I know that wasn't Brian's decision to put on this album, but regardless, it's a great song. Probably the best song in this whole album, just being honest here, is In My Room. Incredible song, credible theming. It's a very personal track. I mean, like I said, something that I think Brian was kind of experimenting with on The Lonely Sea from his last album. And kind of in a weird way, the themes and the ideas of that song kind of had a weird spiritual evolution to this song. I mean, I could be wrong, but this song is like probably the best on the album. I love this song. It's great. It's not really talking about surfing and cars and girls. It's a very personal track, and I think it's something that everyone can relate to, right? It's a great, great song. I also think there's also some deep cuts that I think are really cool as well. Our Car Club, that one's a pretty good one, to be honest. It's got some very nice instrumentation. I believe it was one of the first tracks that Brian incorporated session musicians into it, so you're starting to see a little bit of sprinkling, if you will, into Brian's later production techniques for future albums. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Your Summer Dream is an amazing deep cut on the album. It's a song that I never see other people, when you think of the Beach Boys, play. But it's something like Surfer Girl, but I think it actually does the idea of Surfer Girl a little bit better, right? If that makes any kind of sense. It's a great song. It's a brilliant song. And yeah. And there's some other great ones as well, some decent instrumentals. I do like the last track on the album, which is kind of a little funky but interesting instrumental. Now in terms of my cons, I think that some of the surfing stuff is pretty cool here. Obviously, some of it's dated. Some of the songs, all their earlier stuff, I already mentioned in previous videos, some of their stuff is a bit corny for me, and I'm not the hugest fan of. For example, what was it called? Well, the Hawaii song wasn't actually too bad, but Surfer's Rule, it's a song called Surfer's Rule on the album. That one is not my favorite. I think it's probably the least favorite track on the album. it just a little bit corny. You know, like I said before, they're riding the sensation of how surfing was in 1963. But, you know, them literally saying it and talking about it, I think this track could have been a lot better than it was. And there's some other tracks as well. Like, I mean, Catch a Wave's not too bad. Rocking Surfer kind of falls with the Surfer's Rule. It's just kind of meh. You know, could have been a lot better. And even Hawaii, you know, could have been, like I said, some of the surfing songs I think are a bit hit and miss on this album. But overall, as a complete package, I think this is a pretty good improvement over their last album. I think that there's definitely better songs here. There's better theming. There's better things. There's less filler, if you will. The songs feel a bit more stronger than they did on their last album. And I think, honestly, it's kind of one of their best in their early career. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Surfer Girl, the Beach Boys, the third studio album. If you like their early stuff, I think this is a pretty solid album overall. And the Beach Boys are starting to evolve more and more in music, and I can't wait to see what that results. So yeah, this is my thoughts on Surfer Girl. Hope you all have a good day, and peace, y'all.